In today's video, I want to show you how to make this cool little modern bench for about $25 using just 4 2x4s and a 1x6 from your local home store. So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is select our 2x4s, so which ones we want to use for the top and which ones we want to use for the legs. For the top, I'm going to cut them in half at 48 inches, and the legs I'm going to cut to 15.5 inches. Once I have the tops cut, I'm going to set up a stop on my miter saw and make a bunch of repeated cuts at 15.5 inches. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to measure my stretcher to 42 inches, cut that, and then what we're going to want to do is save that scrap piece because we're going to use that later. Now we're going to set our table saw to 3.25 inches to rip off one side of all of our 2x4s, and then once we rip one side, we're going to set it to 3 inches and rip the other side. And I didn't show it here, but you're going to want to take your stretcher piece and rip that to 2 5/8. Then we're going to take 4 of our leg pieces and rip those down to 2 inches. We're going to measure the thickness of our stretcher here and take that extra cutoff piece that I was telling you about and cut that piece to the thickness of our stretcher. Then take it over to our miter saw and cut it to 3 inches. And also hold on to that last cutoff piece because we're going to use that. Then you can see here we have 2 leg pieces at 3 inches and 2 leg pieces at 2 inches with that spacer, and that gives us almost 12 inches, which is the size of the top of our bench. Once we have that all completed, we are just going to start gluing everything up. I'm just using regular Titebond here. And then you do your best to line everything up. Then I'm just going to use some heavy-duty F-style clamps to clamp everything down. Once you have it all tightened, we're going to want to wipe away all of the excess glue. It'll make sanding a lot easier. Alright, and then for the legs here, what we're going to do is we're going to use that stretcher piece to align where we're going to put our little spacer that we made. I'm going to mark with a pencil just so that way I know exactly where to put the glue and where to put the spacer piece. Then we're going to add our glue, spread it all nice and evenly. And this is where we're going to use that little cutoff piece from when we made the little 3-inch stretcher attachment. Use the little piece here to line it up. Then we're going to add another little spacer from our cutoffs so that way we can get even clamping pressure on the top and bottom of the legs. Wipe away the excess glue and then repeat that step for the second set of legs. Then we're just going to check our fit to make sure that it's all good and to get a couple measurements here for the wrap pieces that we'll use to make the through tenon on the stretcher. And just double check everything. Now we're going to spend some time sanding. I'm starting at 80 grit. You could probably start a little bit lower if you wanted, but you're definitely going to need to be removing some material on those glue lines since most of the time your lumber from your home store isn't going to be completely even and the same thickness as everything else. So just be conscious of that. It's probably going to take some time here to get everything as flush as you can. And even then, it probably still won't be perfect, but just do your best. I'm using the Surfprep 3x4 electric ray sander. The sander is small, but it is very powerful for its size and does a great job. If you have a 5 or 6 inch orbital sander, that'll also do a really great job here, but this sander, for its size, really packs a punch. Now we're going to cut our wrap pieces. I'm going to cut that one piece to 39 inches and then rip it down to 2 5/8 inches like our other stretcher piece, so it will fold over it perfectly and they're the same thickness. And then we're going to cut it to 39 inches and we're going to cut our 2 end pieces to about 3 inches. Your internal pieces don't have to be exactly 39 inches. So as you can see here, you'll just set them in place, attach them with the glue in the clamps, and then snug up your legs to those pieces. And then add your outside pieces as well. And if you need to, if those are a little long, just take it over to the miter saw and then cut them off so that way they're flush. I took my pieces out because I didn't want any glue to grab onto them and then not be able to take them out later. If you wanted, you can just glue it all up here in one go and then those leg pieces will never come out, but I wanted mine to be removable. And then I'm putting a little bit of glue in there to fill the seams so it's nice and solid. Now we're going to check our fit here. And it's worked perfectly. Then I'm going to be using some figure 8 fasteners to attach the top to the base. I made a separate video just showing how and why we use figure 8 fasteners, so I'll link that here. So check that out if you want to see exactly how and why we use these fasteners. And I'm using inch-long wood screws for these. Now that I have all 4 figure 8 fasteners on the bench, I'm going to flip it up, put it on here, and make sure that it's all evenly spaced, and then attach them. And just like that, that's not going anywhere. And there you have it. Bench top attached. Thanks for checking out the build video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful and informative and showing you how to make a cool little modern bench just like this for about $25. Just takes 4 2x4s, 1 1x6, and a couple figure 8 fasteners. And then you can decide if you want to stain it, keep it natural. I'm just going to leave it natural just like this and set it on my porch. We'll catch you next time.